Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. Well, no review today, but I thought we might just talk about stuff. And I'll tell you a little bit about me and my background, sort of getting to know Tim, as well as random thoughts. And while we are gathered here, why don't you write me a question? And I'll maybe do this again next week and answer your questions, whatever they may be. Um, no holes barred. I mean, anything you ask, I'll answer. And if I know, if I don't know, I'll make it up. So it could be about cigars, it could be about anything in general, like me, whatever. So think about that. And if you got a question, if we have enough of them, we'll piece them together and make a nice little video of what the questions are out there on your mind right now. All right, I was born in a very small little town in central South Carolina called Prosperity. Interesting name. And my dad was a pharmacist there. Our home was in Chapin, which is about 15, 20 miles from Prosperity. Prosperity had the closest clinic, not even a hospital really. It was called Mills Clinic, and that's where I was born. So now I live in Irmo, which is about 20 miles the other way from Chapin, very close to Columbia. As some of you know, I was in bodybuilding for about 10 years. I competed from 75 through 86. And if you wonder what I look like as a bodybuilder, here's an example of my last contest, which I did win. And very proud of that. I've got several titles. I'm Mr. South Carolina and on, but still work out hard. May not look exactly like that now, but honestly, it's not that far off. I've made a lot of improvements even since then, but I just don't want to compete anymore. It's too much involved. I've got enough money I spend on cigars, to be honest with you. I don't really have a lot of extra to put into a lot of that. And I still spend a lot on vitamins even today. A couple of things. The biggest reason I'm doing this today is that right now with this coronavirus going on, there's not a lot of new releases coming out. Right now, my backlog is 10 cigars to review. New releases, but only 10. So it won't take long to eat that up. I'm hoping that something starts coming out soon, but when we get to the end, we'll see what happens. Now, one thing that I've noticed is I see sometimes online people dogging cigar reviewers. That's fine. I mean, I'm not trying to be a know-it-all. I'm trying to be a reporter. I'm at the scene. I'm telling you what I see and what I taste, and then you can visualize it in your mind. And then if it's something you want to try, fine. If not, move along, or try it anyway and prove me wrong. But I see these reviewers saying, "Oh, all these flavor notes, you're full of crap. Da 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 da. There's no such thing as that." I'm like, all right. If you like a cigar, what do you like about it? And don't say the taste. How about expound on that a little bit? What does it taste like? Let your mind go blank for a minute. Close your eyes and just sit there in a dark room, not thinking about anything, and take a puff on the cigar and then say, that reminds me of so-and-so and whatever. That's how you come up with these flavors. You don't materialize them. They come to you. So, just for someone to say, if I like a cigar, I like it. If I don't, I don't. I don't really buy that. If I can pick out the flavors, anybody can. There's nothing special about what I'm doing. Another thing that I've come across in the past. And by the way, this is one of my favorite cigars, Guardian of the Farm Campion. I just happen to have it right now going. I love these. One of the things I run across in my own world is, what happens if you have to put a cigar down and it goes out? Can you relight it? How long can it sit there before you relight it? What do you do? So I learned this. I stole this idea from somebody, and I'm going to share it with you. Real life situation. In the normal world, on Sunday, I get up and go to church. From church, I go to the gym. As soon as I leave the gym, I light up a cigar and come home. Now, I also do a review on Sunday afternoon. So when I come home, I set the cigar down. What you do is you'll take the cigar, you'll blow through it, blow it for a while, for 10, 15 seconds, blow all the smoke out and set it down and let it go out. And that's what I do. Then typically I take a nap, I eat lunch, I eat my apple, and then I do a review. Well, my palate's clean, but the cigar is sitting there. And it'll sit there for about 4 hours. When I'm done with the review, I'll go back. The cigar is like 3/4 remaining. I'll go back to that cigar, and what you need to do, and I can't do it with this one, but I'll explain it to you. Take the cigar, and you basically burn the end almost. You're burning the tar off. Just let the flame hit the cigar for several seconds. Take the flame and just burn into the end, and then sit it down. It's lit, but let it sit there and burn off that tar. After about 45 seconds or a minute, blow through the end again and take a puff, take a draw, and it should taste fine. Does for me 99% of the time. How long can you go and do this? That varies. Varies on you and your taste. How much can you put up with as far as harshness? I don't have harshness when I do it after 4 hours. Believe it or not, it's fine. If you stretch it out to 6 or longer or overnight, forget it, it's done. But if it's a lot shorter window where it goes out, it's out for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, just relight it and go on. It's not long enough to hurt anything. But if it's going to be extended time, 30 minutes, hour, or in my case, possibly 4, just really torch the end and burn off that tar and let it sit for a minute or so and blow through the end, and you should be fine. And one other thing I get asked sometimes is, what cutter do I want to use? Do I like to use a straight cut, V-notch, punch? I prefer a straight cut. I have a Cigar. I have several of them. I'll use the same Cigar cutter over and over and over until it gets dull. Then I send it off to Cigar to be replaced or repaired. I'll then go to my second one that I have. I actually have 3 Cigars in the rotation. And I only use one for an extended time until it gets dull. Then I go to the next one. When that one I sent the Cigar comes back, it goes at the end of the line and just keep moving along like that. I can get close to a year out of a cutter, but eventually they're going to get dull. But I prefer a straight cut. At times I'll use a punch, and a V-notch makes an interesting cut too. I have nothing against any of them. It's just what I prefer is a straight cut. So that's a little about me and some of the thoughts on my mind. So do send in your questions, and let's see if we can't put together a nice little video for next week. See you next time.